me to go out on a date, I gotta get a babysitter for my kids.
Okay.
Should a nigga pay for that?
Yes. Because guess what now?
I gotta pay for the kids that you made prior
yes,
to
because
meeting
guess what
me?
now? A part of me is my kids. And in order to take me out.
Dating.
That's part of dating.
You're making an investment for a relationship. So,
And that's why.
And I shouldn't have to pay for your trying. When you invest in
I'm
your
not
company,
saying every day. I'm saying, okay.
No date. Unless we're in a relationship, that's when you can even feel like I should be adding on.
I should be paying
I
for
wouldn't even
stuff like that.
A man that's for me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They know that, okay, she's a mother of two. She's holding down a business. She's holding down a house. She's commuting from Jersey to New York. All right. How much is your babysitter? You know what it takes for a woman like me to go out on a date?
Okay, so we have the Daily Rap Crew podcast, and they're discussing, like we saw, what should a man pay for to go on a date with a woman? Okay, so my thing is, I think this is a fairly new idea. I think that historically women just made do and put together and found a way, whether mom was watching the kids, whether sister or auntie or whoever, and they would, go on dates, right? If they were a single mom, out there. But now it seems in recent years it's become a thing where women are like, you want me to go out with you? You need to pay for the expenses that it takes for me to leave the house and go out with you. And then some women go as far as, hair, nails, outfit, babysitter, and all the things. My thing is this. Just because it's new doesn't mean it's wrong, right? So just because women of yesteryear did things the wrong way doesn't mean that women now can't correct it and do better, right? So if our mothers and grandmothers, did too much, did the most to acquiesce to a man's request for a date or for time or, even sexy time, and they just put together and had somebody help out or whatever, that doesn't mean that that was the right thing. It just means it was the thing, right? Now women are saying, we're not doing that anymore. If you want my time, then you need to pay to make things convenient for me to spend time with you, right? I think that's perfectly fine. I think that if a man wants to spend time with that particular woman and he's lucky enough for her to give him the time of day, then he needs to go ahead and figure out how to make it happen. And I think that if men discourage other men to do that, then all you're doing is actually diminishing their options and their opportunities. So that's what I think. So I loved this clip. I think it was fantastic. I think it's funny that this question of, women becoming prostitutes because they request for things to be paid for, again, to make things convenient for them to spend the time with you. But then at the same time, and I think one of the comments that we saw on the screen, if you go back, one comment said, okay, I'll pay, but after the date, we're going to the motel. Okay, So there's two things here. The one thing is that men are stuck in their ways and they want for women to do whatever they used to do, even though it was wrong. And we know it was wrong. We know that it was not the right thing that our grandmothers and mothers even have done to acquiesce to the way things were and to what men wanted. It was not right. And so women are trying to correct it and men don't want them to. And then the other thing is that this whole prostitution conversation of like, oh, you want to be paid for this and paid for that. But we have a man in the comments saying, I want payback for doing and this and this and that. So what came first, the chicken or the egg? So I think that what she said was absolutely fine. It does cost money to go on a date. It costs women money to put themselves together. more than it costs a man too. And then on top of that, yes, if it's a single mother, she's going to need to pay for a sitter. And so here's the caveat to this whole conversation. It's not if a man wants to pay. It's two things. It's if he can afford it. And if he can't, then he probably should just go back home and stop trying to date. And the other thing is if she's the woman he's willing to pay for, because that seems to be the thing. It seems to be, I'll do it for you, but not for you, right? And I will be reviewing a video where a man actually says that. He says, when he's discussing Kendra G, a very popular radio now internet famous person who has a great channel on YouTube. And she went on the Tamron Hall show. He said Tamron Hall can be paid for, but not you, right? And that is a personal preference. He's speaking for himself, not for everybody. But basically, the thing is that men are willing to pay for the babysitter and for all kinds of stuff if they have it for certain women and not others, right? So they'll treat some women one way and other women another way. And they're not honest about that, but it's just a fact and it's true. And then on top of that, besides that, there's the other thing of if he has it at all, right? If you're inviting somebody on a date and you can't, and you don't have provisions to make sure that they can go on the date in a safe manner where things are done, paid for, the kids are properly watched, she has, money for a dress or hair or whatever she has to do to make the date more magical and memorable, maybe you shouldn't be dating. Maybe you should, stay home and mind your business. So that's my take on it. I love that conversation and I love that debate, and we're gonna get more into that whole prostitution conversation because it seems as though men have a catch-22 of they're complaining about something that they created themselves because they're the customers. So you have to pick a battle. You want to be a customer of a prostitute or you don't. It seems to me as though really what they're really saying is that for you, I want not to pay anything at all and enjoy you. But for her, oh, she can have my house. So that's the kind of situation we're dealing with here. But at the end of the day, we see from this very conversation that, yes, romance does cost money. And, the richer you are, the more romance you get.